Hello Universe, it's Gypsy. Thank you for visiting my channel. This is my Pan That Palette of the Week video. Last week's palette was the Elf palette. I believe I was calling this the 10 color shimmer palette because it did not have a name, and all of these are shimmers. I am wearing this color, which does not have a name, on the lid, and I blended it on top of the green all the way up to the eyebrow today. So I did remember to wear the product along with my Pan That palette of the year, my Pan As Old As Time palette, which is one of the Fantastic Ladies collaborations, the Fantastic Ladies of Facebook. I like this palette. The color payoff was buildable. I could use a brush with it. When I first started this palette, it had hard pan on it. I reached out to the ladies of Facebook and asked them for recommendations. I could not pick it up with my brush finger or sponge applicator at all. They told me that it was a baked product, and if I would take either a piece of tape or scrape the layer off of it, it would start picking up, and it did do that. This is a buildable color. It didn't have fallout. I could use my brush with it or my finger to just pat it on my lid. Today, like I said, I blended it into the green and the brown that I'm wearing in the V. So I enjoyed this palette, and I'm sure that I'm going to be using it again as a frost. What I wanted to do was have a frost on the lid, and then a matte in the V, and then a lighter shade up under the brow bone. I was hoping for just 3 colors to be done and head out the door to work, because I have a 45-minute commute. This week's palette of the week is the palette that I created in a Z palette to go along with my Pan As Old As Time project. I knew that I would need a complementary palette to go with my Pan As Old As Time, because it was predominantly darks. It's all darks that were left in that palette, and 2 blushes. This is the palette that I created. These are a combination of several different brands. I know that this is a Revlon. These 2 in the corner are Revlon, and they're practically identical. The top shade is slightly off. This is an Ofra. There's Almay in here. There's Aziza, Revlon, and Maybelline. And I believe some Mary Kay. And I believe some Estee Lauder. These were depotted out of the bigger palettes. And this palette was created to complement my Pan As Old As Time, and it hasn't been touched. I do have Pan in the Revlon, but the rest of these I believe were new, and except for maybe this one, the rest of this sadly is damaged from depotting. Anywhere that you see on it is damaged from depotting. So this is what I want to play with this week, and I'm going to turn it so the camera can pick up colors. This is a Z palette that I made out of an old tin. It's an old AOL tin when we used to get the CDs for uploading dial-up. I save weird stuff for crafting. And I painted the cover for my own entertainment. So this is going to be my palette of the week. It's just a combination, a cobbled together product. But I need to get use out of it. I need to get some reach on it. It's been sitting on the shelf beside my little chair where I do makeup since the 1st of January, and this is mid-February. So I want to reach into this week. But I'll be back next week with another palette for you, a different palette to experiment with. I've just been itching to use this, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate it in as my palette of the week. I'm making good progress on my Pan as Old as Time. I needed to repress one of the eyeshadows in there that had pan on it when I started. I got it over to the edges too much. Instead of taking another color that was not part of that palette, I decided to scrape a little bit of the green, because the green's been such a challenge for me. Not the turquoise, but the green. Scrape a little bit of that and cobble it together and frankenpan another shadow. And it turned out to look a lot like the olive. So you'll see that in my monthly update for the Pantastic Ladies for the Pan as Old as Time project. So thank you guys for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to. I love making new friends on Facebook. And guys, have a wonderful week.